On Sunday during NFL Week 13, the Minnesota Vikings beat the Jets 27-22. And the most interesting story from this football game was the Jets quarterback. They benched their starter, Zach Wilson, and now Mike White is the Jets quarterback. This was his second start, and the Jets did lose 27-22. But Mike White was 31 for 57 passing. He had 369 yards, no touchdown passes. He did run for a touchdown. He also had 2 interceptions, which let's break that down first. The 2 interceptions by Mike White in this football game were not terrible. The first one was on the Jets' very first drive of the game. His second one was on the very last drive of the game for the Jets. His first interception was kind of just some bad luck. He's trying to throw a slant. Ball bounced off of his receiver, up in the air, got picked off. It's one of those plays where, like, it could have been a slightly better throw, but it also very easily could have been just an incomplete pass. It wasn't really a terrible decision. It was actually a good idea. Ball was slightly off target, maybe. Probably still should have been caught, bounced up in the air, gets picked off. I can live with that one. And Mike White's second interception on the day was 4th and 10 with 16 seconds left in the game. Ball on the 19-yard line. Down 5 points, 27-22. So it's 4th and 10. Mike White's trying to make a play at the end of the game. You got to take a chance downfield. I don't walk away from this game against Minnesota holding the interceptions against Mike White. It wasn't a perfect game. The Jets offense only scored 1 touchdown. They had 5 field goals, which is really, really painful. You kick 5 field goals, you're kicking field goals, not touchdowns. And I want to see in the future with Mike White, the Jets do a better job finishing drives. Like, they had a 1st and goal on the 6-yard line and got stopped and had to kick a field goal. And then later, they had a 1st and 10 on the 11-yard line. Had to settle for a field goal there as well. Then on another drive after that, later, the Jets got stopped on 4th and goal inside their own 1-yard line. Like, the Jets did a really poor job of finishing drives to settle for field goals, not getting touchdowns. There is absolutely room for improvement for the Jets offense and Mike White. But, there's another play where he had Garrett Wilson open deep, missed the throw. It was an inaccurate, bad throw. Could have been a touchdown. And there was other missed opportunities, like on that 4th and goal play I referenced. Braxton Berrios had a touchdown in his hands, and he couldn't hang on as he hit the ground. It's little things like that need to be cleaned up by the Jets. But all in all, look, the Jets' rookie receiver, Garrett Wilson, was incredible. He had 8 catches for 162 yards. It's very clear to me they nailed the Garrett Wilson pick. He was awesome. He's a stud. I love him. The number one takeaway from this game, Jets in Minnesota, I just maintain that Mike White is the Jets' best quarterback. He runs the offense better than Zach Wilson does. He makes fewer mistakes. He puts the ball in the right spot. He's accurate. He's on time. He's disciplined. He throws a really good ball. Like, yes, Mike White throws a lot of checkdowns. I know it's going to be, probably his nickname is likely going to be Captain Checkdown for how often he throws to the flat or throws underneath. Now, number one, these are perfect checkdown throws. He throws swing routes to running backs, hits them right in stride, allows them to catch the ball and cut up field. He does the little things very, very well. But on top of that, it's not fair to just call Mike White Captain Checkdown and ignore a lot of throws he does make downfield. Like, it's not that when it's there, he's throwing the ball downfield. He's not just doing it when he needs to either. Like, he's taking shots downfield. He looks really good. He's got a better arm than I realized. He's totally capable. And I just don't imagine Zach Wilson coming back anytime soon. Mike White has played well. And in the 2 games he's started, he's been giving the Jets a chance to win. And, you lost by 5 points this week to the 10-2 Minnesota Vikings. I think if Zach Wilson had played, I believe the Jets would have lost really badly. I actually don't think this would have been a close game with Zach Wilson. Mike White is not amazing. Wasn't amazing in this football game. There's certainly, I don't know what his ceiling is, but he can't run around. There's things that Zach Wilson can do physically, like escaping sacks and running around, that you're never going to see from Mike White. He's not very good at throwing off platform. But right now, it's very obvious. The Jets' best option at quarterback, and the quarterback who gives them the best opportunity to win, is Mike White. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I would stick with Mike White probably through the rest of the year. And we're going to get a really interesting opportunity. He's playing at Buffalo this weekend. That'll be a great test of how good he really is. They beat Buffalo with Zach Wilson. So I can only imagine with a quarterback who I think is better, on paper, when you say it that way and you sell it that way, you could argue that the Jets should win this week at Buffalo. But it's a whole different game. It's a whole different scenario. I just am excited to watch Mike White against a really good football team this weekend at Buffalo and kind of get tested and see where he stacks up to a team that I believe is a Super Bowl contender in the Buffalo Bills. So that'll be really fun. But again, Zach Wilson should not come back anytime soon. The best quarterback in New York with the Jets is absolutely Mr. Mike White.